Truth met Benita Vergatini. Smile 90.4 FM.
Joining us this evening to elaborate on how strategic corporate giving could change our communities is the head of philanthropy at Citadel, Jean de Villers. Jean, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Benita. It's nice to be on the show, and lucky to chat to you.
So, Jean, how does investing in early childhood education through initiatives like the Blair Athol pre-primary school create benefits for both individuals and communities?
Yeah, look, I think the whole system in South Africa, the whole educational system, is flawed in a way. You know, we try and provide support at tertiary education. You know, you make tertiary education free, but the reality is that access to early childhood development and is not there for everyone in South Africa. And if you don't get the early childhood development, then your chances for success once you join a primary school, is far less. I think the stat is around that only about 50% of the kids that start grade 1 actually makes it to grade 12. Then what was the pass rates? About 75% last year, of the 50% then passes, and you only basically need to know 33% of the work, to pass matric. So it's all about the foundation that gets laid at a very young age. And when you do that, and when you give access to that, the chances of success eventually is so much better. So it's a long-term view. It's about looking into the future rather just wanting to fix the problem overnight. And by doing that, we are upskilling society as a whole, so those kids go back home. And I think from a community point of view, you're just upskilling the community as a whole and hiring the education levels, which can only be a good thing.
Yeah, building that momentum. I mean, what were some of the challenges that you did face in maintaining and expanding an initiative like the Blair Athol pre-primary?
So we've been involved with the Blair Athol pre-primary school now through the Gary and Vivian Player Foundation for a number of years now, probably 8 years. So Mr. Player and his wife Vivian that unfortunately passed away a couple of years ago. They started the school, I think it was in 1990, they took responsibility, help with the funding of the school, et cetera. We've built a relationship with Mr. Player and decided to see how we can help in terms of that as well. It's not about just going in and changing everything. It's about assessing the situation, seeing where you can help and hopefully impacting that environment. So we've been able to do that. But again, it's something that takes time, and you want to create an environment where that school becomes self-sustainable, where they're not just donor dependent, and that's why we're working hard now to almost have an endowment in place so that even in 2050, 100 years time, that school will be able to exist and continue the great work that they are doing.
That's brilliant. And yes, you are correct. It was founded in 1990, northwest of Johannesburg. It remains a beacon of hope to the disadvantaged community and surroundings, providing early childhood education to 125 children. Having walked this journey for the last 8 years, what have been some of the most significant changes that you have seen within the children, Jean?
I come from a sporting background, and I always, love the fact that you can step into a school and, the kids don't know you at all. But sometimes you're wearing a green and gold tracksuit and suddenly you put smiles on their faces. Suddenly they've got joy in their hearts, and it's a simple thing. And I've got a platform now again, and through this initiative, we're able to do that again, where you go to these kids and you see joy. When we visited there a couple of weeks ago, they had a magician there performing as well, because Mr. Player was over and Brian McFadden was over from the UK, and just to see the kids being kids, really not worrying too much about all the bad that is in the world as well, but just having fun, enjoying each other, having a laugh. And, that to me is beautiful, because so many times you step into a school like that, or you go to a school like that, and there's no joy, and it absolutely breaks your heart. So to be able to see that over time we've captured the joy again, that to me is pretty special.
Just having a bigger picture look, I mean, what role do you feel corporate philanthropy does play in bridging that gap between public education shortcomings and possibly providing community-based solutions, John?
The Springboks have set the example for us in such a beautiful way in their slogan of stronger together. And we as South Africans have got a responsibility to understand that, yes, we are the Rainbow Nation, and we are vastly different on certain aspects. But in my heart, I believe that all South Africans want South Africa to be a better place. And if we take on that challenge collectively, if everybody does their little bit, then I do believe we can create a better South Africa. And it's the same in this scenario. If private sector and public sector and government can work together to create a better educational system, then we are winning. Then everybody's winning. Because if we do nothing, it certainly won't get any better. And I think that's the important thing to understand.
Of this effort, you spoke about the relationship with Gary Player and Brian McFadden. I mean, that must raise quite a bit of awareness and go quite a long way as well in securing long-term support around that aim of establishing that endowment.
Certainly makes it easier. When you have those kind of personalities joining the cause. Like I said, it all stemmed around Mr. Player and his vision and the foundation that he has laid with his foundation, with his charitable foundation.
Yeah.
And then it's easy for him to, well, it's not easy. He makes a call to a Brian McFadden and says, Brian, would you come join? We're doing a fundraiser. It is for the kids, and Brian, and I only met him for the first time, this year, and he immediately said, yes, I'm in. No questions asked. And he was over in South Africa, absolute beauty of a human being, with such a good heart, and just his willingness to give. Zolani was there as well, performing, and the energy that she brought, and just the realness and the Africanness that comes out. You sit there and you're just so proud to be part of this and seeing what we as South Africans can create. And then, all the people that actually attended, they wanted to contribute and they wanted to be part of the solution, as I said earlier. So a beautiful day, and something that I think us as Citadel can be really proud of, but it's certainly not something that you can do alone. It's a collective effort. You need so many people to do their part, and from that point of view, everybody involved did their part. They contributed in different ways, and it really was a spectacular evening. We had this, Benito, we had this, the gala dinner now on the Saturday evening, but they actually brought the kids, from the school as well, a bunch of them, and they came and they performed and they sang a couple of songs and danced and whatever. And it was the absolute highlight of the evening. And it touches your heart, and you see what you're doing and who you're doing it for. And it certainly, created the platform, to only go from strength to strength from there. And we were lucky that we were able to raise quite a significant number of funds.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. And as Gary Player says, it's all about love. These children shine with love. The country and its people are struggling, and we need more Ubuntu now. I don't want to be remembered as a golfer. I want to be remembered as a philanthropist, says Gary Player. Jean, lastly, what's next for the Blair Athol Pre-Primary School?
Yeah, well, hopefully we go from strength to strength. Hopefully we can, like I mentioned earlier, we're working really hard to get that endowment in place, through various funding models, and the Citadel Philanthropy Foundation assists in being able to get the funding. We tap into our client base at Citadel as well, and then the Citadel Asset Management team actually looks after that, the investment of that endowment. And, it is something where we've got a target that we need to reach, and hopefully as many people as possible can can help with that. We've got an event that we're doing in the UK as well later this year, and certainly when you times it by 24, it goes a little bit further than our rand here in South Africa. But yeah, anyone that would like to get involved and contribute, they can get in touch and hopefully assist with us.
Head of Philanthropy at Citadel, Jean de Villiers. Appreciate you joining us this evening, Jean. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Benito. Thank you very much. And yeah, it was a lekker chat.